you searching for fulfillment? Discover true happiness. Stay tuned to Shalom World.
Hi, welcome to Beats. Today we're talking to Catholic musician Dana Catherine. Welcome, Dana.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's great to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here.
So how did you get started in music? Like, what's been your journey?
I have always loved music. Like from the time I can remember, I was always humming something. I was always singing. Honestly, like my family, like my parents had to tell me to stop singing around the house. They always joke about that. And they're like, we should have known she was going to be a singer. But stuff didn't really start happening until I got to college. I thought I was going to be a doctor because I thought I want to do the best thing, right? I was a little prideful. I was like, I'm intelligent. What should I do with that? And I thought, okay, well, I'll go into medicine. And then once I got to college that freshman year, I realized, like, when I give blood, I faint. Like, I hate blood.
Me too. That's
Do you
the
really?
only time I've ever fainted
Do you really?
in my life.
Oh, well, I faint other times. I've got a problem.
Oh, okay.
But no, I hate blood. And I thought, okay, I really don't think I can do this. This is not God's mission for my life. And I had like seriously a quarter life crisis, or like I was younger than that. But and I was like, what is my purpose? God, why did you create me? And really from there, I actually tried out for the X Factor freshman year because I thought, God, I've been writing songs. They're not necessarily for you yet, but I've been writing songs. I love singing, and that's the one passion I've always had, no matter what. It's never fluctuated.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity to try out for the X Factor. I tried out. I thought I did great. And the producer really seemed like he wanted to give me a yes. But at the very last minute, he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to give you a no. And it obviously devastated me, especially because I was having a hard time in college just with the culture that was around me. But right before that producer said no, I heard like two words, just not yet. Kind of just like in a whisper, and I kind of forgot about them. But over the next 4 years in college, I just started asking God for the first time ever, Lord, what is your will for me? And your will be done. I had never prayed, your will be done, Lord, but I had no clue what I was supposed to do with my life. All I knew is I loved music, but I got that no from the producer, so I thought that wasn't it. That wasn't my purpose. And then by senior year, I went to just a normal secular concert in town, and in the middle of that concert, it was like time almost stood still, and God, this sounds so strange, but it was like God was pointing up at the stage, and he said, that's what I want you to do. And at that point, I had ended up writing all songs that were just for him because I just really fell in love with God. And so all of my songs became about him, and it became Christian music.
So you were writing music that whole time, even though you thought you weren't going to do...
Yeah, because music just was like my journal. Like my songs were just my cries to God, or just anything that I was going through, I'd write about. And I definitely did not think anybody was going to hear those songs ever, like they are now. I had no clue I'd be recording them, but after that moment, that crazy moment in the concert, I was like, okay, God, this is your will for me. I'm going to do this, right? But I don't sing in front of anybody. I don't play in front of anybody. Only my parents had ever heard me sing. And so a month went by and nothing happened. And I was like, God, you need to come through for me. Like, you got to do something. And I actually went to adoration, Eucharistic adoration, about a month later. And I just laid it all out on the table. And I said, Jesus, like, I will do anything you want. I don't care if I'm supposed to go into the medical field. Like, I'll get over blood somehow. I don't, like, I don't know. I don't care if you want me to do music, like I'd love to do that. I don't care if you want me to be a zookeeper, like I seriously don't care, I just want your will. And then the next day, this random man that I had never met, even though it was my home parish, he came up to me after Mass and he said, are you Dana? And I said, yes. And he said, I heard you sing and you write Christian music, and I happen to have a studio, and I mainly produce Christian music. Would you like to record a few songs? And so that was the start of everything. It was really miraculous. And if God didn't step up and show up in that moment, I would not be here. There's no way. So
Wow.
God is good. Yeah.
So it took 3 years of praying.
It did, yeah. Sometimes we think like God's just gonna just move like so quickly, but a lot of times I feel like even in my life now, the Lord prepares our hearts for the call He has for us or for whatever the next step is. And so even in other ways in my life, things have taken time, but I've always looked back and seen that it was because God wanted to prepare me and my heart for what He had for me. Because if I wasn't prepared, I wouldn't have received that gift in the way I was supposed to. And it's amazing. I don't know if this is in everybody's life or just very obviously in my life, but there's so many full circle moments that the Lord has brought me through to say, like, look what I did there. Mm-hmm. You have the chance to go back and do the things you wanted to do, or you could choose what I gave you. And I always just realized, like, wow, what God gave me is so much better than what I wanted before. So, yeah,
that's
awesome.
Mm-hmm. And you said earlier that your music is like your journal.
Yeah.
That you thought no one would ever read.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's unique about your music in the Christian music world, mm-hmm. is that a lot of it is it's just kind of more real and more raw mm-hmm. than a lot of the stuff that's out there. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I remember at the beginning when I was writing music and I realized I was going to do Christian music, I definitely had fears that what I was doing and just writing real stuff about what I was going through was like too real and too honest. And I remember thinking, well, maybe I should do worship music like other people or more of the cookie cutter stuff that you hear on the radio for Christian music. And I just felt the Lord say, Dana, just write about what you're going through. Like what you were doing from the start, just talking to me and having me talk back like in your songs, that's what I want you to do. And I think that is definitely like the lane that I am in right now. A lot of other people are doing the worship or the CCM, it's called contemporary Christian music, but I'm just in this space where whatever I'm going through at the moment, like for instance, I just moved to Nashville a few months ago, and that's been probably the biggest transition of my life so far, moving away from everything I know and my family and stepping into this new environment. For instance, like I've been writing songs all about transition and all about the fact that it is hard to trust God during this time. And what if God fails me? Or what if I fail God? Or what if He doesn't come through or doesn't provide? Just like all the anxiety that comes with that. And then all the trust that I really have to show in this season of my life. And so that's what I've been writing about lately. But it's whatever I'm walking in, whatever I'm walking through, I just write about. And so that means that I'm not always just saying, God, you are good. It doesn't matter what's happening. God, you are good. Like I do say that sometimes. Yeah. But sometimes I'm just saying, God, I'm anxious right now. Or like I'm awake at 3 a.m. because I'm thinking about all of these things that could go wrong or whatever it is. Yeah. And then it's just my relationship with God. That's what's found in my songs. And it's real. And when I play sets, when I play my music, especially this new music, people come up to me and they say, you know, I don't listen to Christian music that much, but I really love yours because it's speaking to where I am in my life right now. And it's not just like covering over all of the hard stuff, but it's speaking about the hard stuff and where God is in the hard stuff. And so that's a blessing. And I'm just going to try to stay in my lane the best I can and just do that with my songwriting. Yeah.
I love that. I actually, when I was listening to one of your songs, it made me think of, I went to confession this morning and I was praying about like, Lord, what do I need to confess? And like the checklist went through my brain, but then God was like, what about, you haven't really been really asking me about the situation in your life. You've been kind of trying to figure it out on your own.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You know, and that's the kind of stuff that we don't always talk about. Yeah. We always want to be like, you know, we go to God for, Lord, I give you everything. And, you know, and we want, that's what we're aiming for. But your music covers like those areas in our life where we're still kind of like developing, you know?
Yeah, I think that's another thing I've realized, especially in my songwriting now, and I feel like it's a new season in my songwriting too. Just because I don't have something figured out yet, or I don't have a situation or a fear or a doubt figured out yet, doesn't mean I can't write a song about it. It's actually like through the writing of a song that sometimes I find like I find what I'm looking for, and I think that's also what people connect to. Like the fact that you're not perfect, you don't have everything figured out, but you're still going to write this song about that experience right there.
Yeah, I definitely heard that in one of your songs that I wanted to talk about is Surrender song.
Yeah,
and that song, it just sounds like exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. It's just like, you know, God, I'm putting it out there, and I would love to hear like what's the background of that.
I actually wrote this song a few years ago, and I had come to a point where I had seen it hadn't been too many years since that moment where I was able to realize like this is what I'm supposed to do with my life in that concert, like I'm supposed to play music. It hadn't been too many years since then because I've hardly been doing this for that long. And I realized I've seen God do so much in my life, and every time I surrendered to Him, there was a part of my life right after that concert where I was just like, God, I give you everything. You open the doors, you put the people in my life, you put the opportunities, and I'm going to say yes. I'm truly like your child, and you're my father, and you're a good father, and you're going to take care of me. And there was a part of my life where I was living like that, and God did so much. And at the moment that I wrote this song, in my life, I had realized I was trying to take the reins back a little bit and trying to take the control back a little bit, and thinking that I could do it all myself now, because I'm a professional, right? And it was kind of saddening, because I realized I got to this point because I trusted in the Lord like a child with a good father. And I had realized I had kind of lost some of that. And I was trying to just not lean on God, but lean on myself. And I realized that's not the way we're supposed to live. And so this was kind of like my anthem for myself, to just say, God, I've surrendered before, but I need to do it again. I recommit everything to you. I recommit this journey, just the journey of my heart to you, but also the journey of my music. I recommit it all to you, because you're a good father, and make me a child of trust.
I've been thinking about a lot these days. I've been thinking about everything. I've been thinking about where my heart's at. Is it all yours, or am I holding it back? If you're a father of love, make me a child of trust as I sing my song to you. Like, oh na na, oh na na na, oh na na, oh na na na, oh na na, oh na na na. This is my surrender song, mine for so long. I've been holding on song, now I'm giving it all back to you. Na 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 to you. Na 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 na. This is my surrender song. Now I'm living in complete abandon, 'cause I've given it all back to you. Na 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 to you.
It's like, it's got a lot of rhythm to it, but it's also a more serious song.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I not only play music and lead worship for like adoration and stuff like that, but I also give a lot of talks, especially to young people, especially to people from like middle school to like mid-20s. And I've just realized like with that song and a lot of my music, like the heart of it is really like, how do we trust and surrender to the Lord like a child, like we should. And I've just realized so many people, even though that's like a fun song, they really connect to the message of it. And they realize like, wow, I do need to really abandon myself to God a little bit more. I need to believe that He's going to care for me more than I believe right now. So yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So I wanted to talk about another song, My Savior and Me.
Yeah.
What's the background of that song? How did that come about?
So I wrote that song before Surrender Song. I released it before Surrender. And so that was a few years ago. I wrote that song, honestly, right at the beginning of my ministry starting. So I had the first album that I recorded in college because of that miraculous experience I had. And then about maybe like a year later, I got signed to a small record label. And they said, okay, we need you to write a single. Let's see how we work together. And so I was trying to write, I had never been asked to like write a specific song. They're like, we want you to do a song that's a little fun, that would be good for a single release. And we need it by this date. And I, up until that point, I had only written just because, like I said, it was like my journal. So I never had the pressure. And so I was writing all these songs and sending them to the record label, and they said, no, like, or maybe you could change this or whatever. And I was getting so frustrated and honestly a little scared. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to get this song. I'm not gonna be able to write it, I don't know. And so a priest friend of mine, he had found out about my music. He was honestly one of my first supporters. It was great. And he asked me to lead music for praise and worship adoration, Eucharistic adoration. And I had never done that before. That was the first time ever that I had done that. And so I said, you know what, Lord, okay. And this was the day before the deadline for this song, and I had no song. And so that experience at this church down the road where I just led people in praising Jesus in the Eucharist, it was absolutely amazing. And I do this all the time now, but like I said, that was the first time. And I remember driving home and I was overcome with, it was just so humbling. I was overcome with such gratitude. And and the spirit of just like, God, how could you call me to do this? How could you call me to be the one leading these people and praising you and worshiping you? Like I've done so much wrong. I've fallen away from you. I've turned away from you in small and large ways. Like, why would you want to use me? I just don't deserve it. I was just really humbled. And so I was thinking all of that, and I just came up with the first few lines for this song, My Savior and Me. And by the time I got home, I almost had the whole song in my mind, which I never do. Like I'm always with my guitar playing, like writing songs.
Yeah.
And so I went to my guitar, I figured out the chords, I finished the song in like 30 minutes, and I sent it to my label, and they're like, that's the song. And so I always say the moral of the story is if you have a problem, just go to Eucharistic adoration and it will get figured out. Or if you have a song you need to write, I don't know. But yeah.
This is the story of my life. Just go to Eucharistic adoration.
Yeah. And so the song, the heart of the song is, it doesn't matter what we've done. It doesn't matter how broken we are, how sinful we've been, because we're all that way. God still wants us to shed his light and spread his light wherever we are, so that other people, when they meet us, they don't see us first, but they see our Savior in us. They see Jesus in us, whatever we're saying, whatever we're doing. Yeah.
And I love that it was filmed in Chicago.
Yeah. Oh,
love Chicago.
Forgot. Yeah. Yeah, because the label was in Chicago, and so I flew out to do all of this stuff with the song, and they're like, hey, you want to shoot the video in Chicago? And I thought, sure, this is a great city. It was the first time I had really been there. And so I'm just like, kind of like just bopping around Chicago singing this song, and everybody was looking at me, like, because it's kind of strange seeing somebody like with a video camera and then this girl just like, I had to bop. Like, you don't realize in these music videos, like, it's awkward. Like, in person, it looks really weird. It's like you're really moving around. In the video, it looks normal.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Embarrassing. Yeah.
I had to do a music video one time with, and it was a very like slow song, and there was, someone was behind us playing, it was like at a park, and they were having like a family reunion, and they were blaring like bad dance music.
Oh gosh.
And I just had to pretend
like it wasn't happening.
Right.
Tell me, Lord, how can it be that you would choose to use someone like me? Someone like me. Couple billion people in this world, yeah, you would have chosen to use somebody so unworthy. I'm just another pen you're putting to the paper, a reflection of my maker. Write your name on my soul. I'm just another chapter in this story, another expression of your glory. Have your way in my soul. I surrender all control. Let my heart beat to the rhythm of your song. Make the world wanna sing along. From the mountains to the valleys. Let my words be your truth and life. Push out the dark, bring in the light, so the whole wide world can see my Savior in me. Whoa, my Savior in me.
So, Dana, what do you want people to get out of your music?
Aside from just, my music bringing people into a deeper sense of trust and surrender in the Lord, I think I felt God calling me with my music and my voice to kind of reach people that have maybe closed the door on God in whatever way that may be, especially people, I feel like there are more people in the world than ever that are just buying into the hedonistic culture and buying into just like that pleasure-seeking culture, like running after empty things because they want something good, but they're just going to the next best thing, and it's never satisfying them. And so they think God can't provide that for them. And they don't listen to Christian music maybe, and maybe they think it's too cookie cutter or whatever. And so I'd really like my music to reach those people and to just open the door of their hearts, even just a little bit, just crack it open for them to think, you know what, maybe God is here in the midst of everything that I'm going through. And he's not just in the good times, he's also in the hard times or the confusing times. Because I saw a lot of those people back in college, and I think that's where my heart for those people kind of started. Because everybody wants God, whether they know it or not. And so I kind of want to reach those people that maybe don't realize that they're actually searching the world for something that can only be found in God. And so, yeah, I think that's my mission right now, is to reach those people that don't necessarily listen to Christian music and have a deep relationship with the Lord.
And it sounds like from what you were saying earlier that like you thought your plan was better than God's plan in the beginning, like in your freshman year of college, and and so it sounds like you can kind of relate to that.
Yeah, like, I mean, I always loved God. I really did, and I always prayed. Like, that was just something that, it was by the grace of God that I had this relationship with him and my family. But it wasn't until that freshman year when I realized, okay, I love God, but am I really giving him everything? Am I really understanding that life with him is the best life I could live? Because I was kind of afraid that if I handed over everything to him, including my career or whatever aspirations I had, my friendships, relationships, if I gave him everything, life would be imprisoned and I wouldn't actually be set free, but it would be like I was living on his terms, which weren't as good as my terms. And then as I just lived each and every day with him, and I said, God, where are you in the midst of this? And I honestly realized, like, I don't know what to do, so God, I have to look to you. It was kind of like I was forced to look to God because I was a little stubborn. Through that, just looking to him every single day, I realized, whoa, when I'm living life with God, it's truly an adventure. Like JP2, St. John Paul II says, life with Christ is a wonderful adventure. And I want people to know that. Like any of us, you don't have, like, just normal people, if we live like life with Christ, life is so beautiful and so full. I want everybody to know that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Praise God. Where can people find you online if they want to find you?
They can go to danakatherinemusic.com. I'm also on social media. Too much. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, if you just search at Dana Catherine Music, you can find me anywhere.
Okay. And what is next for Dana Catherine?
So I'm just hoping to travel the nation like I've been and play conferences and retreats and lead worship at different churches around the U.S. But I'm going to continue, like I put out Surrender Song, but I'm going to continue putting out a few more singles that I've been writing because I've been writing nonstop lately. And so I hope people enjoy that. I'm just looking to put out as much music as I can and share my heart with other people. Yeah.
So more journaling, more song journaling.
Yes, I can't imagine not doing that, you know? So I've got to do it. It's definitely the call God has for me.
Yeah, it's how he made you.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart and being on this show with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you, and
You too.
I love your music. I'll keep listening.
Thank you so much, Hannah. This is fun.
Thanks for joining us on Beats with Dana Catherine. You can check out our music online. See you next time.
Someone who's used media a lot in evangelization, so I believe in the importance of Catholic radio, Catholic TV, Catholics using the new media. And I encourage everyone to watch Shalom TV. I think it's a great vehicle of evangelization. And God bless all of you.